Have you ever wondered where true genius comes from? I mean, really, truly revolutionary ideas? What if they didn't come from years of study but from a dream? Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Srinivasa Ramanujan, a man whose mind was so powerful he claimed his ideas came straight from a divine source.
This one quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? For Ramanujan, math wasn't some dry academic subject. No, for him, it was a sacred language. It was a way to actually understand the thoughts of God. And you got to keep that in mind, because that belief is the key to his entire story.
So let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with this complete enigma. We've got a young, poor clerk in colonial India with almost no formal training who is about to completely revolutionize the world of mathematics.
I mean, just look at the circumstances here. It's almost unbelievable. He's born into a poor but very religious family. He's so obsessed with math that he literally fails all his other classes and loses his scholarships. He's basically self-taught, learning from this one single dense textbook of formulas. And this is the crucial part, he was deeply, deeply devout. He believed with all his heart that his genius wasn't his own. It was a gift from his family goddess, Namagiri.
And his own account of how this worked, well, it's just wild. This wasn't some vague feeling of inspiration. No, it was a vivid, almost graphic vision. He described falling asleep and seeing this red screen, almost like it was made of blood. And on that screen, a hand would appear and just start writing out these incredibly complex equations. He saw himself as a scribe, not an inventor. His job was just to wake up and write down what the goddess had shown him.
So what happens when this kind of mystical genius crashes into the most rigid, logical, and rational place on Earth? Well, let's see, because that's exactly what happened when Ramanujan met the world of Cambridge University.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1913. A letter stuffed with unproven theorems arrives in England. It's from Ramanujan. The man who receives it is G.H. Hardy, one of the top mathematicians in the world. And these two guys, they were polar opposites. Ramanujan, the mystic who believed knowledge came from divine inspiration. And then you have Hardy, the pure rationalist, an atheist who thought any claim was worthless without a formal, rigorous, step-by-step proof.
But Hardy's reaction, this is the amazing part. He sees this letter from some unknown clerk with no proofs, and he's just floored. He'd never seen anything like it. And his conclusion is just incredible for a man of pure logic. He basically said, these formulas have to be true because no one could possibly have the imagination to just make them up. They were too beautiful to be false.
So their whole partnership became this incredible balancing act. Hardy brings Ramanujan to Cambridge, and he tries to teach him the importance of proof. But he knew he was playing with fire. How do you bring structure to a mind that works in flashes of divine lightning without, putting the fire out completely?
Okay, so was it really a goddess? Or is there something else going on here? Can we look at these incredible visions through the lens of modern science? Let's take a look at what we know about those aha moments.
Well, it turns out scientists actually have a name for what Ramanujan was likely experiencing. They call it mathematical intuition. And it's a real thing. It's this cognitive leap where your brain just sees the answer without consciously grinding through all the steps. It feels like an idea that just appears, fully formed, out of thin air.
And neurologically, there's some fascinating stuff going on. Studies show that right before one of these eureka moments, brain activity actually becomes less predictable, kind of chaotic. Certain parts of the brain associated with creative thought light up. You can think of it like this. His mind was so saturated with math day and night that it was this complex system just waiting for a breakthrough. The divine dream might have been his subjective experience of his brain making that leap, of everything suddenly clicking into place.
And this, for me, is where the story just goes to a whole other level. Because the ideas, he said, came from dreams. They weren't just elegant little formulas. They were prophetic. They were glimpses into the future of science. Get this, as he's literally dying in 1920, Ramanujan writes one last letter to Hardy. In it, he talks about something he calls mock modular forms. Nobody had a clue what he was talking about. For decades, it was a complete mystery. It wasn't until 2012, 92 years later, that mathematicians finally proved he was absolutely right.
And here's the punchline. The mathematics that Ramanujan claimed were whispered to him by a goddess nearly 100 years ago are now being used by physicists to understand the chaos and disorder inside black holes. He somehow saw a fundamental truth about our universe that science wouldn't be ready for almost a century. It's just mind-blowing. Okay, now for one of his most famous, let's just say, out there claims. Look at this number, -1/12. Ramanujan argued that if you add up all the positive numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and on forever, to infinity, the answer is -1/12.
Now, logically, that makes no sense, right? How can adding an infinite list of positive numbers give you a negative fraction? And yeah, by the rules of math at the time, his proof was flawed. But here's the kicker. His intuitive leap, this bizarre way of taming an infinite sum, is now a crucial tool in things like quantum field theory. It helps physicists make sense of the infinite weirdness of the universe at the smallest scales. He was wrong, but in a way that turned out to be profoundly right.
So we're left with this question, aren't we? Was Srinivasa Ramanujan a channel for divine knowledge? A scribe for a goddess? Or was he the ultimate example of human intuition? A brain so intensely focused on a single passion that it could break through the barriers of conscious thought and glimpse the fundamental truths of the universe. What do you think?